Hello everyone, I am Priyanka and in this video we are going to make some Halloween cards. So these are a few Halloween cards that I made for Paper Rose Studio, and the products used all will be linked in the description box below. So this one is a bit interactive one. So you move this and the elements are moving side by side. The other one is the shaker one and I've used some embossing. So I'll show you how we'll do that. And the third one is the use of some dies, that's the Polaroid frames with a beautiful arrangement on top. So let's start. So for the first card, my card bases are 5 by 7 inches. Okay, so I've cut a cardstock that measures 10 inches by 7 inches and scored at 5 inch. So cut a card base. Then I used a purple cardstock which is 1/4 inch less than this card base. Then I use this die, the Sun from Paper Rose Studio. It says nested pierced rectangles, and then I used the biggest size and kept it inside and cut out a frame. So this has now become like a Polaroid one. Now I'm going to stick it flat on my surface just like that, and then the inner piece have got this kind of marking on the borders. Then I have inked the edges of both these frames, and then I'm going to make a backing for it using my orange cardstock. So just like this, I'm going to cut some strips because I ran out from big paper, and then I'm going to mat it so that I get a frame like that. So let me do that and I'll show you. The next thing I have done is cut a strip of 5/8 inch of this orange cardstock and mat it up on the black cardstock. And then before I stick this, I'm going to wrap this around on my frame at the bottom so that we have a beautiful border here. So first you just put your glue and keep it here on the center of this frame just like that. After that I'm going to make some score lines so that it's easy for me to wrap it around. See, so just right over here I made a score line. Now it's so easy to fold this around my Polaroid frame. Now if you don't want to do like that, you can cut it out as well from the sides. Maybe we can cut it out. And then I'm just inking it. Next I'm just going to stick this down, and cutting this also helps not to get some bulk on the sides of the frame. There we go. Now let's do the framing of this one, and then I'm going to stick this down with the help of some foam tape at the back so that it elevates and it also looks very pretty. Let's do that. You can do it like that. Then the last one, there we go. Now I'm just going to ink, and now so this goes just like that. Let me back it up with my, so just like that, just like this. Then I've cut out the Polaroid frames. These ones are also from the die from Paper Rose Studio, and I'm removing my take backing. I have put some foam tape on the sides. Then I'm making two frames here. I've cut out two cardstocks. So I'm going to stick this at the back so that there is some dimension. So one is this one, the other one is this one. So I have this cobweb stencil this is also from Paper Rose Studio. Okay, and so I'm going to use my Distress ink black suit to make this cobweb effect on this. So I'm going to use it like so. Completely forgot that I had to do this. So here I'm going a bit dark, and then on the upper part I'm going a bit light. Okay, just like that. And then here as well I'm going to give a little bit. That's it. So this will give it a very beautiful look. So I'm going to stick this one first, since this has the tape backing here as well. And so this piece is going to go just like that. Yeah, and then this one. So here I've not put any foam tape so that it can go right over here on top of this. Okay, I think this needs a little bit more dimension, so I'm going to do one more layer at the back of this. Polaroid frame die which I've used is this one. This is 28414 Polaroid Duo metal die. Then I'm using these like a rip-off band-aid kind of thing, which is gonna go here, and this will go just like that. And on the center you can take any picture that you like. They have a lot of collection in the embossed die cuts, so maybe a window here just like that, or a house if you like. And what else, even this house is gonna look good, but it's a bit smaller, so you can just check out some more. It was, yeah, this one. Maybe I'll take this one. Let's go for this one. So I'm just putting a piece of double-sided tape or this chipboard piece in the center, and I'm going to stick it like that. So I think I do need to put foam tapes at the back of these. This will go at the back of this ghost. I think this one needs one more. Just like that, right? Now I'll stick these ones. So these ones will also need a bit of foam tape, just like that. So I'm going to put a bit of a glue here in the middle so that it gets stick to our Polaroid frames as well. Just like that. Right? Now you can put a sentiment. If you want, you can put some leaves around this. Yeah, it will look good. So just like that. Okay, and then I'm sticking a small sentiment, says time to celebrate, over here. Right, and then you can decorate it with some sequins here and there, and I'll do that in the end. So these are the two cards that we made. Now let's move to the next one. For the second card, I'm using a piece that measures 434 by 634, and here I'm using the cobweb stencil again, and I have this embossing texture paste. It's called Berry Bliss. The color is going very well. So what you do is just take this paste on your palette knife and go through your stencil, and then I'm going to remove this and take it on the top, and I'm going to do the same thing on the top as well. Don't need it too much in the center because it's all going to be hidden with the shaker element, but it's a really good technique to make a very amazing texture. Now let me wash this quickly and I'll be back. And now starts the magic. Look at this. So when you run your heat gun on the paste, it turns in this embossed texture, and even the color changes once it heats up and gets embossed. See, now it has become light purple. The more you do it at one place, the more embossed it becomes. Okay, so it depends on how much embossed you want. If you do want to do it very lightly, so you can do it very lightly as well. Look at this. So give the card a bit of a time to settle down. It has become a bit warped, but it's okay. It does look very pretty now, isn't it? So that will be the base of our card. Look at this. Now let's make the shaker. For the shaker, I'm using this die over here, the oval nesting die, scalloped oval frames metal die. I'm using the bigger one over here. So that's the die, and I have got one piece out from this, one acetate piece and one of this piece. Okay, so I use this one for the frame. This is going to go over here like this, and then this is the piece which I use some other oval die that I had in my stash to get a piece for the background. So this is going to go right over here. Okay, then I need a piece of acetate as well, so I cut down one of these pieces for my shaker. Okay, so the first things first, I'm going to put my acetate here. Okay, so let's bring this glue back. So that is my acetate. Now next thing is I'm going to put my foam tape around on this frame. Okay, so like that. And then here is some of the shaker material I have for the Halloween. So I'm going to keep this piece in the center. I'm going to put some of these over here, bring them in the center. I'm going to put my glue as well on this foam tape, or maybe I can put it down inside like that, and then I can stick it like that. Yeah, so this has gotten stuck like that. And now I'm going to put some chipboard at the back of this, just like this, and then you bring your card base just like that, and then in the center we will stick this piece like so. And then I'm using this Best Wishes die from Paper Rose Studio, and I've cut a shadow from black glitter cardstock. So now I have stuck this on my card base. Okay, and then these are the elements that I selected here. So I have put a chipboard piece at the back of this girl, and then I'm going to stick this on my frame just like that, right? And then there is a pumpkin basket. I wanted to give some color because now it's too much purple and black. So here I'm going to stick this at the back with the help of foam tape as well. And then this one is Best Wishes. I have cut out the Best Wishes from a purple glitter cardstock, and this I'm going to stick this down over here. Okay, so this was my first card here, and now this one is the second. You can play around with the elements, choose whatever you like. And then here I have just done a candle, so I'm going to stick this a little bit towards this side, or maybe go like so on top of this. So then I can stick the candle here. I thought it just looks good, so let me stick this with no foam tape or nothing, just flat here. And so this is it for this card. You can just play along with the sentiments, sorry, with the sequence. And if you want, you can put a bat over here. I think this is too much gray. Maybe I'll just put a spider, and I am going to put a bit of dimension here again, so just like that. So this is it for this card. Again, I will just do the sequin part a bit later, and then I will show you in the end all the 3 cards with the sequins. I think I need to put dimension again. You see, with dimension, the effect just changes. Can't deny it. I know it is a bit of a work because you have to cut strips, you have to put them, and then takes a bit of a time. Yeah, see, now the look has changed completely, isn't it? So this is it for this card. Now let's move to the last one. So for my third card base, I've taken a black card base. This is also a 5x7 card, and now I have cut a gray cardstock. This measures 4/3/4 by 6/3/4, and we will make a cloudy effect on the cardstock. So just with my third one here, I did the cloudy effect. If you want, if you have some other stencil, or if you want only the de-stressings, you can go ahead and do that. But since I'm making a night scene, I thought let's just do the clouds. So I'll start from the bottom, and I'm going to take my ink blending tool, this one, and then I'm taking the same black Swoot ink. Thought this looks really good with the gray, and I'm starting from the at least 3/4 of my card from this. So we don't need too much from the background. We don't need too much from the bottom because we're going to put this fence kind of thing. So I'm trying to make a graveyard at the back. So I'm start with the bottom part, and this is the stencil from Paper Rose Studio, and I'm going with my blending ink like that, right? So I've got this, and then I'll keep my stencil a little bit up so that I get another layer of cloud, and then I'll work my way upwards. If you want, you can change the side for the cloud so that we have different cloud lines like that. And then the last one, they'll go again with this one, so just like that. Yeah, this is it for the cloud effect. On this card, I started from the top and then I went down, so I thought let me try this technique from the bottom to the top. So you can do anything that you feel comfortable with. I am not very pro on using stencils and making backgrounds with the de-stressing, so I'm still learning. So this is it for my background on this piece. Now we are going to do some splatters here so that we make our night scene complete. Let's do that. So here I've taken some white acrylic paint, and that's my water spray, and I'm going to use a flat brush to make some splatters. I'm going to take this much in my brush. I'm just going to do like that. Think I need more water, like that. And then let me just do this one. Tapping the brush might give some better results. So I've seen if you dilute the color too much, then it doesn't give you that result because the paint dries off to actually not see the white thing. Now let it dry, the splatter, and in the meanwhile we'll prepare the other elements. So for that, what we will need is some kind of fence die cut if you have. If you don't have, you can just cut out this kind of plane on a black cardstock and just keep it over here. Okay, and then this height can be according to your preference of elements that you want to sway here and there. So from the left side is 2 7/8, in the middle it's 3 inches, and on the right it's 2 3/8. That's the piece will go that right over here. The next thing is I need a longer strip for a pull thing, and then we need 3 more strips to make a mechanism. So you can change the measurements here according to the elements. Now the thing that we need to do is pierce 3 holes on this one. So here it's going to be actually 2 holes. So this is the part where the elements is gonna get stuck, and these ones, the smaller ones, that's one I have just taken according to the height of this, like that. So these are 2.5 inches. So I'm going to pierce 3 holes here, similarly on this other one, and I have also rounded the corners with my corner punch, like that. And then we will need some brads. So let me do this and I'll show you how. So you pass your brad through the holes and then you pass it through this one, and then you open this up. Similarly this one, like so. And then we will need to make the holes on this one as well, so this will get attached like so. Taken this one a bit broader, this is 3/4 inch and those ones are 1/2 inch. So first let me attach this one. Take the thinnest brad that you have from the top. So this part, if you see, it's quite flat, it's not very broad or doubly like that. Okay, and now if you see, so when you move this strip, it's gonna go like so. So that's the mechanism here we need. Okay, and these two holes are also for brads, and that part's going to get attached over here. So let me just put it on my card base like this. I think this is a perfect space. I'm going to keep this on the right so that I can move it further, and when I'm going to hold it and then move it to see. Yeah, so I think it's coming out of the card a little bit. I'm going to shift it here. So we are going to limit the movement. Okay, and then we need some space here as well from the bottom. Don't make it flush to the bottom, so I'm going to keep it a little bit like that so that we can easily put tape. And yeah, okay, perfect. So just like this. So what I will do is keep it in the center like so, and I'm going to make holes inside the cardstock like that. And okay, so we needed it to be like so. Put the brad from the middle point to the card base just like that. Okay, and let's keep it in this position. Now I'm going to pierce the hole over here as well. Okay, just try it, it's fairly easy, just like that. Now we have to limit the movement of this, so I'm going to put foam tape just like so on the bottom, and then it doesn't go too much from here as well. That's it, it doesn't go forward than this. Okay, and then here as well, and then this height was this much, so I'm not going to go above this point. Okay, just like that. And then in the center as well, I'm going to put a tape so that it supports. So we need a square piece in the middle. I think I'm going to line up two of my chipboard pieces. You have to make sure that all the foam tapes that you're using are same in height. Okay, so that's why I'm stacking two pieces so that they are at the same height with this foam tape. So I'm just going to check. Yeah, right, like that. Okay, now if you want to put the magnet like this one here, so when we rotate, this is also moving. Okay, if you want something on the bottom, then that's done with the magnet. So let's put that. And if you want to skip this step, then you can just leave it. I'm going to do the magnet part since I did it in my first card. So let me show you how. First of the magnet will go right in the center, or maybe a little, so that it's easy to move and it's nicely visible. So if you want a longer sentiment over here, for example, I've done a boo over here. If you want trick or treat or something big, then just skip this steps, otherwise you won't have some space to write like that. So just to keep the boo over here, I'm not going too much in the on this side, so that when this magnet's gonna move, it's going to be restricted to this part of the card so that I have space for boo. So I'm going to keep it towards my left. So the best way for the magnet is using a tape. Also, we have to make sure that we are not doing too much bulk, otherwise the card will be like a bit not on the same plane. Okay, because there's magnet as well, so we have to take care of these things like that. And then I'm just removing my tape backing like so. Okay, the second part of the magnet will come on top of the black piece, this piece. Now first layer the elements that we want over here. So I'm going to use some pumpkins in this one, and then we can layer one or two at the back as well. If you want, you can do the grave part again. Try different things so you can get a variety of elements to use, just like that. Maybe I'll use this pumpkin over here at the bottom, and then these two goes over here. Guess this one is too big. Yeah, so what we will do is put the foam tape on this layer as well, so that we can stick our pieces. So here, just like that. Okay, let's stick these two later on. So I'm going to stick this one and this one, or maybe yeah, these two. Okay, let me check the height. So I think we do need a small layer of chipboard on this as well, so I'm going to take care of this one like that. Okay, so I think now they will be in equal height. Not really, so I guess I have to put a small strip on this as well. Yeah, okay, goes like so. I've covered the brads as well. So since this one is visible, I'm going to put this down a bit like so. So he can go a bit down like that, even on this one and on these ones as well, like that, right? And then I think I'm just going to cut the stem pumpkins a bit from here so that they don't hinder from this part, like that. Okay, now goes the glue, and I think we can stick the tape on this part, not from here. That's it. So just like that, and then you just okay. So I have changed one element. I've removed one pumpkin from here and stuck the scarecrow over here so that it looks a little bit different. It was looking too much linear, all the pumpkins in the same direction and everything, so it's not liking it that much. If you want, you can put this pumpkin over here, even place a house at the background so that looks like somebody has done a decoration and far away there is a house, and there is also this moon and this witch. If you want, you can use that as well. So if I was not using the scarecrow, if there was the only pumpkin, this was looking really good, but now it's looking too cluttered, so I'm going to use this house at the back. Okay, so it's even giving some pop of color because there's too much orange actually, so this one is giving a bit of a break of the colors. Now I want to stick a bat in the sky. Then again I'm going to use a dimension here, yep, like that. And then I've stuck this pumpkin, this mushroom. Still thinking actually, I want some green. Okay, let's take the boo and the magnet and then we'll see. So for the magnet, I'm gonna take the other magnet and just drop it so that it takes its place. And then again I'm just going to put a small piece of tape on top of this magnet so that we can stick our element. So just like that. Okay, when you're sticking the scarecrow, you have to make sure that you're not sticking it on the middle part. It should only be either here, or you can put a tape over here and then stick it right over there. Let me do that. I think I stuck my scarecrow on the middle part. That's why it thing just stopped working. Okay, so this is the piece where I'm going to stick it. I'm also putting some glue. Yeah, now it's looking a bit better. See? Yeah, I think that's fine. I'm going to stick this down now so you can see the pumpkin as well now. Gosh, you have to let it dry. Okay, so there we have the boo. So I'll start from here so that we know where to stop. And then I have made a shadow of the gray glitter cardstock and the green. So put them side by side just like that, so that they are visible more and it gives a beautiful effect as well. So there we get the boo. Now if you want, you can stick this also over here, but I was thinking to stick something over here just like I did on this card, you see, on the side. So let me do that. So let me stick this, so that will be our card. Okay, and this pumpkin will be stuck only with the help of this tape. No glue required over here. Okay, otherwise it will not work. You can also use this pumpkin, says boo, and let's use this one, I guess. Okay, now let's try. Okay, so there is one more thing that we can do. So instead of this, I'll just put a piece of foam tape on top so that we have a little bit dimension. This is going way too down actually. This pumpkin is quite big as well, so it's nothing very scary about this card. So I think let's choose this Halloween pumpkin with this whole face and thing. Yeah, see, now it's working. So I think I'll just put one more layer of cardstock at the back of this because this is going a bit too maybe I can fold it back. Let me do that. So just like this, I'm going to keep it a little bit of a gap, and I'm going to fold this down on itself so that it becomes a bit thick, and when we pull it and push it, it's going to be a bit fine. Let me try that. So okay, so here if you want, if this does this bother you, you can hide this part a little bit, but it doesn't show anything much. Okay, so it's fine because this is gray, it's just looking fine. So that's the sentiment. Now I'm going to write pull and stick this on my black card base. Let's do that. So there we go. I have written pull over here and I've stuck this on my card base. So our card is ready here. I hope you like this interaction. Now the last touch is I'm going to add some sequins, and in this one these moves like this, and then we made this one. I completed the sequin process for this one as well. This one. And then the last ones are these shaker ones. These are cute trick-or-treat girls playing trick-or-treat on Halloween. And then there's a shaker. So these are all the 6 cards that we made. I hope you guys had fun watching this tutorial. Give me a thumbs up. All the products will be linked down in the description box below. And that's it from my side for this month. Thank you so much for watching.